Hello and welcome to Rolling with Reviews. I'm Will, and with me as always is the one who's seeing some slowdown here down on the Brain Highway on Highway 1.
Sarah.
And today we're doing a review of Big Sur. If you're curious about our two-player perspective and accessibility, check out our other video, Rolling with Two, Big Sur. Sarah, I'm having brain slowdown on Highway 1 as well.
I can tell.
There's some congestion here.
There is.
All right, so, Sarah, tell us about this game.
All right, in Big Sur, players draft cards to use either as resources to build new road sections or as the road sections themselves. Your linear path of cards will score for connecting terrain types and meeting other conditions. For more scoring opportunities, you can also add landmarks to your highway, which are based on actual locations in California's Big Sur Highway. All right, Will, so why did we get this?
Well, we've been fans of 25th century games, so when this came out, we liked the theme because this is around a highway in California. We live in California.
We may not have been to this particular highway before,
yeah,
but it's still closest to home.
Yes.
Closest.
So, and we thought the mechanics on the game looked interesting, so we checked it out.
And we backed the Kickstarter, and here we are. So what do we like about the game?
I like the theme is very approachable.
Yes.
It has the mechanics could take pretty much anything because it just needs some icon matching and you're off and ready to go. But because they chose a scenic route, it just makes, like I said, everything approachable.
And a bit more just enjoyable.
Less pressure.
Right.
There's no war that we have to stop. We don't have to be small children to save the world. You know, things like that. We're not fighting any monsters or zombies. There's no this is, hey, you're playing a game, chill out.
Yeah, you're just driving along, enjoying the sights, and I think the art's really nice. They didn't try to be hyper-realistic. Now, the locations are, show the main attractions of those locations, but it's still done in it's hard to explain, but a more simplified, artistic way, and I really enjoy it. So it's bright and colorful, and so it's just really an enjoyable thing to look at.
Yes.
And then when we get to the gameplay, it's such a deep game for how easy it is to learn. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of what you can think of and what to do, sometimes a little too much that can cause some analysis paralysis, but you've got a lot of choices on how to use these cards and which way you're going to go, but knowing how to play the game is really straightforward. So it is easy to teach, they're always easy to teach, hard to master. I do think this might break a few people's brains, but in general, we really enjoyed the gameplay.
Yes.
And I think that covered everything. Well, the other thing about the art is we really liked that it didn't distract from playing the game.
And it could very easily have done so, because there are some very beautiful scenes that they're inspired to, portray here.
Yeah.
But because they're not going photorealism or anything and choosing a stylized version.
They chose a graphic design that integrates the mechanical aspects that you need without obscuring it, because there are other games that prioritize the art.
And sometimes the art even goes over the usable stuff.
Right? And it's like, I can't read what number that is because this arty piece is covering it up. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So it was a really good balance of having art that is vibrant but doesn't detract, and it enhances your experience.
Yes.
So I think that covers a lot of what we do like. And
what don't we like, though?
This is the other side of the coin. It's a bit heavy for a small box game. And again, it's that whole appearances are deceiving thing. It's not a bad thing to have a heavier game in a small box game. But generally speaking, when you make a game based on a location, you want to be able to market it to as many people as possible. So you generally make a simpler game. And every time I've run into this where it is one of these kind of games, it's just may not sell well to that market once they find out that it's not as easy as, I hate to put it this way, I mean, I don't want to say like Uno, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but the nice thing about this is sometimes if it's in a touristy place, a tourist who's not a gamer has a gamer friend, picks up the game for them, and the gamer's like, oh, thanks, because the game's just not up to their level.
Yeah,
this is actually a great gift for your gamer friends.
That's true.
The tourist buyer.
I'm not saying there's not an audience for this. I mean, heck, we picked it up because we live in California. We've never been to Big Sur, but
I might have been on sections of it.
When you were a kid?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's when you could see better, because at this point, you and I driving one, I wouldn't want to...
It'd be lost on me.
You'd be lost on you, and I'd be too stressed out from driving.
Yes.
So
don't fall in the ocean. Don't fall in the ocean. Ah.
This is the best way for both of us to experience the Big Sur, even though we live in the same state.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's just going to be deceiving. I think that's more of what I'm getting at as to what we don't like is the art and the style of it. It doesn't look complicated or complex.
Right. But it can surprise you.
But it can surprise you, because the other thing is a small box takes up a lot of room on the table because you are making a road. Sorry, Will, I need to keep going this way.
Excuse me, sir, Big Sur. Sir's coming here.
So, if you do have to sit next to each other, you really might want someone taking the high road and the other person taking the low road, so you can actually keep building your road. So that's just something to be aware of.
Because we do like sitting next to each other when we play games, and this one wasn't very conducive to that type of play.
But that's it. Those were like the two things we didn't like about the game. So, who this is for?
Definitely the intermediate gamers.
Yes.
And experts.
And up,
but we also think this might be a good transitional game for someone who's casual and is being trained up to be intermediate or wants to be intermediate.
Try some heavier games without being too overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things. When you're trying to transition from being casual to being more intermediate, you're often thrown into big games, and just having more components can be overwhelming. But here's a game that is small. It doesn't have a lot of different components, but it does make you think.
Yeah.
So what the space it takes up is in your brain. Well, I guess it does take some up on the table, but it's not a lot of different components.
Yeah, it steps you up to be thinking multi-dimensionally on your plays. Whereas first you're like, well, this looks like a good move because I get these things. And this looks like a good move because I can do those things. This is now thinking, well, now where does this card go?
Right.
Does this card go out to do the stretch? Do you want it because it's higher points? Do you want it because it's lower points but has potential higher points? Do you want to spend it on that so that you can also have it as a recycle ability for... And those extra little layers.
Multi-use cards are probably one of the best ways. Well, I don't want to say best ways. One way to really challenge players.
Or break their brains.
Because there are points where you're like, this all looks like a good idea. I don't know which one to do. Kind of thing.
Yeah, what was that one game that we recently played that you repaired stuff with stones? And they had the blue stone, the red stone, the yellow stone, and you. It had a bad name. It had a very generic name.
I can't remember.
We recently reviewed it, but that also had multi-layer use cards that I just had to give up and go. Okay, I'm just gonna.
Because that had like 4 uses.
Yeah, it's like
for the one card.
I built it. Do I keep it? Do I spend it out and sell it? Do I cover it up here? It was a whole lot
there are
use.
points where some games may take multi-use a little too far. But for this one, it's 2 uses of use it as a resource or build it as the road. But even just having those 2 choices, you still have a lot to consider.
Yeah, left side, right side of the road.
All right. So let's move on to our rating.
So for our ratings, we each have 1d6 worth of ratings to give. 1 is low, 6 is high. We give a number, a reason why, add them together, and see what it rolled for us. Sarah, what did Big Sur roll for you?
It rolled a 5. I think this is a solid game. I think this is a great game to have in almost any library, especially with, again, I keep going all over the place on it being a small box. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I think in a lot of respects, it's good because it doesn't take up a lot of space in your library.
Yeah, it's a great thing for us because we're running out of space.
Right. But that also means then you're more likely to keep it and have it around for the right time when it is something you want to play. Where bigger games that might have the same level of thinkiness, you're like, I don't play this game very often, but it takes up half a cube. I think I need to get rid of it because I just don't play it very often. But a small box, like, I don't play that very often, but it doesn't take up much space, so I'll keep it for when it is what I want to play. And I think that's where this is not perfect for me, is I actually kind of expected a slightly lighter experience. And so this is just not one that I'm always going to want to go to, because that first game did just about break my brain. I had given up and was just trying to get cards out until that last round when everything fell into place and I was able to go this, this, and this, and I got 3 cards and 1 landmark, and I won. But so
and then she was like, "Big Sur, thank you, ma'am." Jazz hands. Like, what happened? Did I get Yahtzeed or what? What's going on?
Well, what's your rating?
Same, 5.
Okay, 5.
All the reasons you stated. Pretty much.
Pretty much, we're on the same wavelength with this one.
It's just because of the depth of play, it's not a game I will always want to reach for.
Right.
But what it has is top-notch, excellent play, great experience, good thoughts behind it. It's just a really good game. It's just not one that I want to experience rapidly over and over. I think one game and I'm good.
Yes.
I'm good. I need to let that sit.
And I need my brain to recover.
Yes.
Yeah, I like multi-use cards, but ooh, they are challenging.
Yes.
All right then, so 10 out of 12. Highly recommend you check this out. I mean, if the theme is interesting and
What's the price point on this one?
I do not remember, but and it's hard to say in this kind of the current market if it's somewhere between 15 and 20,
or now even 25.
Yeah, but hopefully now the one thing I do like about 25th,
I think even at 25, it's a good game.
But 25th Century Games, check out their website because they usually do bundles of games, so you can get a bunch of games together at a discount.
Yeah, well, even this Kickstarter,
Right.
It was a bundle of different games and you just chose this one.
Yeah, I chose to only get this one because the other ones didn't really fit us that well. But they have a lot of great games, and we've reviewed a lot of their games in the past. So if they have a bundle on their website that has a discount, that's another good way to get. And they're always something I recommend to check out.
Yes, 10 out of 12, great score.
Yes.
All right, Sarah.
Yes.
Now, one thing that caught me off guard and while we were talking about this might also be a great game to share road trip memories.
Oh.
And one thing that came to mind is my dad was with his parents, and my grandmother was there, and she goes, "Look out!" My grandfather hit the brakes, and she continued, "At all them flowers?" And they just looked at her and just like, "What?" My grandpa was like, you scared. I thought we were gonna hit something. And just look at all them flowers. They're just so beautiful. And playing this game is like makes me think of little things like that. So this might be a fun game to share memories if you have road trip stories like that.
Unfortunately for me, I did not go on many road trips, mostly because of my health. So I don't have many. I mean, except going to Oakland all those times to go see the scoliosis surgeon. But we did. We stopped at what was that maze and was it not the Woos and Knoxberry Farm? Was it?
I never went to Knoxberry Farm.
We always stopped somewhere along the way for food, and I always remember how good it was.
Oh, probably something tree.
Oh yes, tree. It was something tree. Oh God, I don't remember anymore.
It's been a while since I've been there.
Of course, I don't know what's still there. I know the Woos closed.
Yeah.
Decades.
Well, it wasn't built to be set up. So once you kind of figured out the layout of the map, there was not much for you.
Right.
It was an interesting experience, but if
Yes.
they could have made it so that it could be adjustable and then reconfigured and maybe add new things, it had a lot of potential.
Yes.
It's just poorly thought out.
So my most memorable road trip moments are where I went to eat, because that was the most memorable.
Didn't you say you looked forward to, like, 'cause then you got McDonald's or something?
Yeah, something like that. Like, we stopped at whatever that place, it was a not fancy restaurant, but it, you know, for a kid, it felt like a fancy restaurant. And then I think it was either closer to home or when we left. I can't remember, but you're right. I also got McDonald's.
Yeah.
So there you go. Well, of course, my destination was a hospital, so it's not like that was like a really great place to go. Hey, it fixed me, but still.
Yeah, not touristy attraction.
No, not really. Hopefully you have better road trip memories.
In fact, let us know down in the comments. And we've been Rolling with Reviews. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach out to us on the various social media platforms at
Rolling with Two, that's TWO. We're on Blue Sky, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For Discord, we have a channel on Tabletop Express. Check the show notes for the invite link.
If you have time, check out the other content Nanaman has found for you, because remember, he's rolling with you.